We recently concluded the Australian Open, which by all accounts was probably the best Australian Open in a while, right?
Yeehaw!
All right, take it away. What do we got?
Yeehaw! Look, I know a lot of people say that January is like the worst month of the year, but you know what I realized?
Is it your Roman Empire?
I guess you could say so, but it's also kind of one of my favorite months because it's award season and it's tennis season. So
January, I always call January, it's like, oh, we've started in the new year, but we're not really into the new year as of yet until we pass the tennis.
pretty much.
Because then all of a sudden, okay, well now we're fully into the swing of it now. There's nothing, don't need to stay up late to watch all of these games that bloody go on forever.
It's on our time zones.
Oh,
Yes, we did.
There were a couple of games that went in a bit late in the night, but otherwise, for us especially, living in Australia, it's like, it's the start of the year when tennis season has come in. And technically, we got a little bit earlier because, United Cup and all that. So that's a whole new facet of, this is really tennis season.
By the way, we have a vlog.
Yeah.
We have a vlog, so I'm just going to link it down.
We'll insert it into link. Check it out because that was a fun night. We got to watch the quarterfinals.
Highly recommend.
Exactly.
So hopefully it'll happen again next year, hopefully. And I think it will. And then watch some more games and it'll lead up to tennis. But all right, we'll start it off with Australian Open. So I have to say what has especially made this year's Australian Open interesting is that there's a quality of players, quality of tennis that is really standing out, especially because there was a whole pattern that a lot of new qualifiers that came into the draws took out quite a lot of seeded players.
The caliber of young talent must be immense, right? Because, and it's so funny to think of tennis in generations of but it's true, right? If you're coming past the Fadal of it all, and then the tail end of Djokovic, I'm going to say tail end because
Did you say Fadal?
I said Fadal. Yeah.
Federer and Nadal.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
It's a
It
thing.
is.
100% a thing.
Go on the internet, mate.
100% it's a thing. And then you've got, the next gen trio that was supposed to be marketed. You've got your Medvedev,
Your
Tsitsipas, and who was the third?
It was meant to be Zverev.
Zverev? Yeah. I know
then-
it's, how do you is Zverev, right? It's
Zverev. Yeah,
Zverev.
something about
but
the
we
V should
say
be-
in this house, we say Zverev, okay?
So just roll with it.
Just roll with it.
Just roll.
We switched the E and the V,
Yeah. And then after that, you have the baby gen.
The baby gen.
Which is your Sinners, your Alcarazes. We'll get to more about
Rublev.
Sinner a little later.
And then now there's this new emerging talent pool that's coming in. And I did ask a work colleague of mine just what was his take on it, because he's an avid sports fanatic as a whole, right? And he was just saying that it's the pedigree of the talent now have got, you've got all of this to look back at, right? And so you're really honing in your game, and arguably that's what people are saying about Alcaraz, right, where he's got a mix of the big three from way back. It's not even that way back, but it's crazy to think that what's this key stat? It's Djokovic has not been in a final has not been in an Australian Open final, or has been since the last time he wasn't there was 2005. That's nuts.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's nearly 2 decades.
Because it's as well, you have to credit it, not to make it about the big three. We'll move past them in a little bit, but just knowing what they've done themselves. We grew up watching them, especially for me, I know they are the tennis generation that I've grown up watching, and that's why I grew to love tennis. But it's considering how much they dominated the game. And now, I know a lot of people keep talking about changing of the guard, but it is happening now because you have so many more prominent names coming to light now that you can look out for.
And what's really funny in that, and we'll probably talk more in depth about it as we go through each of the subtopics for AO this year, but that next gen, it's they kind of missed out on their moment to shine, right? Because it's like a classic, you've got your Gen X, your Gen Y, and your Gen Z. Your Gen Y in the middle is just struggling between the trauma of the previous gen and then the nuisance of the upcoming gen, and you're just what the hell? We're trying to find our own space.
Yeah, exactly, which we will touch on as well as to why the baby gen have technically more slams between them
Yeah.
than what was meant to be the next gen. So we'll get into it. But before that, so doing a little wrap up. So of course we'll start with the women's. So of course Aryna Sabalenka, she got to defend her title. Good for her. And as many of you have probably seen on Breakpoint, which I'm glad that you two have like really caught up. And
We did our homework.
you guys are actually like know the name, like you're really into it now.
Yeah,
as
Kev,
to-
how do you feel about
into my
tennis
levels.
now post watching Breakpoint?
And now you know the people that I might say
Okay,
this
listen.
time.
I actually play tennis. So don't give me.
only recently
Don't give
come
me
back
heat.
to the court. What are you talking about?
It was
mate?
good. It was good. Breakpoint's good. That's
We
all I
even
got.
watched it like this may sound like a weird thing to say, but I think it's quite nice to say that we even watched the women's final because it's like we this one new.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. That was hard.
it was-
it was hard to watch that final.
It was a pretty
I
comprehensive.
mean, the real
Yeah.
final was it's terrible to say. The Coco Gauff and Sabalenka.
Yeah.
By entertainment, but you know, it was good.
Exactly.
but also woohoo for Zhang.
yeah,
Zhang?
Chang.
Yeah,
Zhang.
this
Yeah,
guy.
Zhang, she broke into the top 10. She's at 7 now.
She's at
Yeah.
7. I'm
so
looking at it
she
now.
moved up, and so I'm sure she's young. She's only like 21, I think. So
Which is crazy, right?
she's
So good.
got
Yeah.
she can keep going on, and so otherwise, good for Sabalenka because of her whole narrative arc about like she wanted that dream to get 2 Grand Slams before turning 25 or something like that, and so yeah.
The conspiracy of like Breakpoint and now messing with like the real life to create the good story for the next season.
the curses. Because
Oh.
technically the curses did kind of carry through on some of the ones. Because, like, yeah, what happened with Jessica Pegula, Sakari,
Sakari.
they got out. Jabeur got
But
out.
that
as
was
well.
across the board. We saw so.
It's especially in the women's side
Yeah.
that so many of the seeded players
They
were
great
out.
went out.
At the end
early.
of what was it? The stat was like at the end of the first week, like 19 of the 32
Yeah.
top seeds
Were
were
out.
out. Like
Yeah.
that's nuts.
Yeah, we saw Sakari play, and she was like crushing it.
She was good in United Cup.
I don't
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
happened. So what third round? Like what?
Yeah, like
I felt like a lot of them just before the third round they were gone.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a bit.
Well, that's what I was going to highlight, especially the second round, actually, of Elena Rybakina, is apparently how you're supposed to say it,
Yeah.
versus Anna Blinkova. And their final set tiebreaker that went to 22-20.
That's nuts.
I heard about that one. What was it? What, did they go for like half an hour or something?
Pretty
It's the
much
tiebreaker
that
itself.
game, that
Nuts.
last tiebreaker, yeah.
You'd love to see it, but that's nuts.
That's not. I think that was like a record because of just going up to the 20s. And I remember there being a shot of like the umpire laughing while he was saying the score.
Yeah.
It was like 21. So
Isn't it hilarious how I feel like they've made a more conscious effort, a big deal of, oh, so your final tiebreaker is supposed to be the first up to 10.
yes,
And then you factor in the fact that you have to beat by 2
by
if
2
you don't
increments.
make it.
Yeah.
So it's like they made it a big deal to try and curb the fact that it's like, oh, we're trying to shorten the game, when in actuality it's not really. Like, depending on the,
Even with the fact that they actually started the tournament earlier by 1 day,
Oh,
we
it's
still
so
had
funny.
We still
It's-
had matches that went to like really late and were getting pushed, which we will touch on. But
it's
that's
also
so
like,
funny.
It's just the planning of it. It doesn't like it's what was the point of an extra day? Like, it feels like you really then need to have arguably an extra like 4 days.
Wait, that
to
extra
then
day they
space
only
out
had
the
one
thing.
match, right? The one at night, or did they have a couple more?
They would have. It was
Oh, they-
broken to be like 2 in the night. Yeah,
Yeah, it's always
a
two.
women's or in the men's.
It's always 2 in the night, but you need to have like they'll have courts 1 to 14 or something like that, right? That
The
gets used in
court,
the
yeah.
that gets used in the first week, and then you've got John Cain, Margaret Court, and Rod Laver,
Laver, yeah.
and of course you're going to cater to the commercial side of the sport, where you're going to need to put in your big ticket items in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe you can't solve for that, but then it's or I don't know, like start an hour earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing, especially with the night planning. But then they say that they can't start programming during the news and all that,
Which
I get it. Yeah, but I mean, otherwise, like, I'm not complaining.
switch to the other channel, and know that's how you boost your other channel. Here you go, Channel 9. Here's a free strategy for you. Put it on 9 now. Put it on
exactly.
your old
People
standalone.
plug in. I
Anyway,
mean, otherwise,
don't do that. Actually, make it free, please.
I wasn't really complaining. Like, I was just excited that tennis got to start earlier by a day on the Sunday. So
it's actually quite nice.
let's make it happen again next year. So then be like, yay, tennis is back for one more day.
That's good.
But otherwise, so that was a whole interesting thing. Like, for me, my disappointment was that Iga Swiatek, she got out like in the third round. Yeah. But her draw was like really tough.
Okay. Now.
Okay.
So I will use this as a case study, right?
Yes.
Like I know they make a big hoo-ha deal about it. It's the the week before they pull it out, etc., etc. There's some weird voodoo shit happening. Yeah. There's got to be, right? And how challenging some other people's draw is
in comparison to others,
i.e. Medi and Iga. Versus other people, arguably.
Sabalenka's was pretty easy.
Yeah. And I mean, like, don't get me wrong, right?
I mean, she still played
not to take it away from her. Yes, she played great and stuff, but then it's also...
Her draw was relatively easier than, like, Iga's, so... Well, because that's the whole thing, that there's a whole point to people, like the top 10 seeds, the way that they are put into the draw is that it's meant to benefit them because they're not meant to face each other until, like, the semis,
right? Or the quarters, right?
Or the quarters even.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's just like, it was nuts, like what was happening with Swiatek, because she almost got out a round earlier against Collins, but then she came back from like the break.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
She's too tired of having to say Poland. in bloody United Cup.
It was in my mind.
Mate, like,
please don't remind me that they lost, because that was a tough loss.
Oh, that was intense.
You can't say that, because Zverev played even more than...
Well, yeah, but then he still lost, right?
Yeah, but he went all the way to the end. He went all the way to the end. Can't say that. Can't say that.
Calma.
All right, we'll get into that soon. But it was very, like, a lot of people say stuff about the draws, but, like, look, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Because Swiatek's better surface is clay, so, but she does pretty good on hard courts, so we'll see. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we're gonna dip quickly into some of the doubles. You weren't expecting that, probably. So with the doubles, one of the most notable ones is that, for example, the winners of the men's doubles was Rohan Bopanna and Matthew Ebden. So that technically continues the tradition of an Australian still holding the doubles trophy. After last year, Hijikata Kubler, and then the year before that, Special K Boys.
True. Nice.
And then, shout out to Rohan Bopanna, who broke a record.
Alliance Burrs. What is it? Alliance Burrs in the Commonwealth? You know?
It looks like everyone's favorite Indian uncle.
Oldest #1 player and Grand Slam winner at 43 years old. You love to see it. And to think that he was considering retiring like 2 years ago, and then he went on to do this at least.
Achieve your dreams, albeit in a.
How do they rank doubles players? So a single person gets the #1 ranking, or pairing?
No, the pairing.
It's pairing.
Oh, it's pairing.
The same games that you play as a pairing
throughout
the.
So if you have a pairing for the year, you have to stick with the exact same pairing for the whole year.
Unless they get injured.
Unless you switch out.
Yeah, I don't know how the ranking goes based on that, right?
Because the two of them, so now they're #1 together. They were #2 before that. And so...
Are the Bryan brothers still playing, or are they gone?
No, they're gone.
They retired long time ago. They presented the trophy last year.
Oh, okay.
To Hijikata and Kubler.
Sorry, just a throwback to the old times.
It's collective points if they win like titles together. that I think that gets added on, because it's the same thing for like if they do singles, because singles points are different, of course, to doubles points.
Yep.
But yeah, otherwise good on them. Like they got their first title together, first Grand Slam title. They call it Home Slam for them, because of locations of homes and whatnot. And yeah, they are the oldest doubles team to win with the combined age of 79. So you love to see it.
Love to see it.
Love to see it. So good on them. And then a quick shout out actually to hopefully I'm saying this right, but Xu Su Wei. She won the mixed and women's doubles.
What a machine.
What a champ. What a champ.
Just dominating in all domains.
So the 38-year-old from Chinese Taipei, so she retired from singles, but she went to continue on with doubles. And she ended up winning the mixed doubles with Jan Zelensky and winning the women's doubles with Elise Mertens. So it was literally like back to back.
Is that the old partner of
Sabalenka?
I didn't realize. Yeah, because when we were watching the finals, like, oh yeah, she's also a slam champ, like a
player.
Like,
yeah.
Then I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. So Mertens continued on with doubles, and so then I was like, that was cool. But yeah, Xu Su Wei, like legit. She was like, I'm stepping away from singles, but here I am getting all these doubles titles.
And it's arguably an actual tougher game in the sense that it's a different game, right? Because it's more on like it's the reflex, it's the strategy, there's your set plays, like you can't
communication with your partner, being able to maintain the same level essentially.
Yeah.
So that's
and
thing.
also the very often like Kev, what would you say about like doubles? Like when you're seeing single players like playing doubles?
What do you mean?
You say it's the like, oh, it's very clear that they don't know how to play doubles.
Oh, it's its own game. Yeah, it's a completely different game.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't have a 43-year-old be number one in the world.
Playing singles.
It's a completely different game, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's
It's
also like even in like United Cup, right? We saw that these players that don't really play together.
It's like pickleball.
Yeah. Oh, God.
When are we gonna play pickleball?
We're not playing
guys?
pickleball.
I want to play pickleball.
Oh my gosh.
I'll try it.
By the way,
Don't
you
leave it.
disrupted my chain of thought. I was actually
It felt like you did not have a continuing train of thought.
No, so you know how one of our points is this year the standard of tennis was really competitive on both sides, the women's and the men's, right?
Yes.
I'm surprised it's so hard to get like this information. I'm manually counting it as we speak, but my gut feel is like this year for the men specifically, there was an obscene amount of 5-setters. Like,
Oh yeah.
I've just counted on the first round. I don't know. There were 25.
There was 35 across the
5-setters.
No, yeah. Oh, wasn't it? Yeah, 30,
Something
yeah.
like- something
35,
It's nuts.
Yeah, 5-setters across. I think both.
There was both.
brackets, I think, or something.
I don't think so because
Men's
I've just
bracket.
Was it
counted
just
20.
men specific?
Men's brackets.
Yeah.
Yeah, the men's one was actually nuts. In the first round, I'm counting 20. So unless I'm counting wrong, that's why I'm really looking at it. And this is what caused like some of these delays that we've probably never really noticed, right?
It's oh gosh. Well, okay. Well, now that we're gonna go to the men's.
Yeah.
Actually,
Let's talk about them delays.
let's go. Yeah, let's talk about
and the
delays.
causes and the reasons why there were the delays.
Delays with the men's and all that. So, I mean, they were meant to do that extra day of play to account for example, rain delays, which there was, I think, one day where there were rain delays.
But then they closed the roof.
Yeah, they closed the roof.
They closed the roof.
And
coincidentally in Djokovic's game.
and it didn't impact much of the scheduling, but that's where you come in with a lot of the 5-setters who one of our highlights actually, and of course is the finalist for this year.
Winner in my heart.
Daniil Medvedev. Like
Oh,
he did
that's painful.
of those 5-setters that you listed, like he did 4 in his
20
entire run.
Was it a total of 24 hours on the court? At the end
24
of-
hours, 17 minutes on the court. So, for example, let's talk about his run. Let's talk about his run in general.
Yeah.
So, he did four matches that were 5-setters. In the second round, Rusevuro, the Finnish guy. So that one,
Sorry.
I
I took that as like, what did he finish? And it's like, sorry.
from
I did rationalize it before I said it. But
I
it's
saw
just
the
funny.
cogs moving, and
I was
then you're like,
why is he
oh,
why is he known as
what
the
did he?
finish
What
guy?
did he? What did he complete? No, so that was one of the delayed matches where they played like they only started before midnight and they finished
At 3, 4?
at almost 4 a.m.
Yeah.
It was like almost like 3:30 and all
If I wasn't employed, it's back in those days when
Watching
like uni days, I'd just be watching it all up and
Lies.
yeah.
You'd fall asleep like you did.
No, earlier in my early years. Now it's like I struggled.
Especially during Wimbledon days.
Oh,
when you would stay up with dad.
Drink water, mate. Drink water. Just stay awake.
Stand up.
Yeah, and then go to go to the study, which you had to walk to the study to then chat with people on MSN and like say, oh,
Wow,
what a
this game
point!
is
Yeah,
crazy.
those were the days.
Internet back in those days, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, he came. That was one of his ones where he came back from 2 sets down, which is just like, Mehdi, what is happening?
Why did you need? That wasn't necessary.
You
Why did you need to do that?
Who knows?
Why did you need to do that?
Another 5-setter, which was the 4th round quarters. Quarters. Against Hercucks.
Mm-hmm.
Also from shout out for United Cup in Poland, but it still pains me about having championship point and then it was lost. But anyway.
Also, doesn't it feel like he passed the curse on to Mehdi?
I hope not.
Conspiracy.
I hope not.
Breakpoint season 3. Watch only on
Hoopy's
Netflix.
just a nice. He's just.
Oh,
a
he's
nice,
so sweet.
He's just a gentle giant.
He's so sweet, but like
He's a
also,
gent-
let's be
yeah.
real.
He just needs to work on pressure points and all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then of course, probably one of my favorite matches, Medvedev versus Zverev. that match was
That was nuts.
That was a good match.
amazing.
50-point rally. That's a great
It
match.
was amazing.
That
well,
was nuts.
I was horrified at first because I was like,
Zverev
Mehdi,
should have won.
What? It was like,
Should've won.
Mehdi, what are you doing? Your serving's atrocious. He had like 5 double faults in the first set. What are you doing? And then I remember Dad went out and then he came back and he was like, oh, is Mehdi beaten already? I was like, no, he just won the tiebreaker. Dad came home in time for the real match, which was their last 3 sets. And just like,
all that was just filler. It was nothing.
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh. And like he won 2 tiebreakers and like
That fluke shot.
that fluke shot where he went to like, was it the volley and then it ended
Yeah.
into a drop shot?
Yeah.
Oh, that was amazing. And then he finished the tiebreaker with an ace. Like
Crazy.
you can't write this.
Crazy.
You can't write
Crazy.
this.
I love this comment as well as saying like, came to the 3rd set, I'm just going to give it my all. And if it doesn't work out, it's
I'll just
okay.
go home. I just go home. And then it's like, you got to stay in. And we love to see it. And then, of at first, everyone thought it was Karma.
Because I'm trying
If
to
you know,
say, if
you
I look at the
know,
camera,
yeah.
it's like Kalma. It's like, oh,
It does
yeah,
look
you
like
can kinda-
Karma.
It looks Karma.
It
yeah.
probably was that, but like a lot of people were like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing!" If he did say Karma,
Yeah.
if you know, you know. Breakpoint, episode 4 was it? Yes, one of the basically the Zverev episode. You know what it is, and then of course the last 5-setter was Sinner, which was he was 2 sets up. And then
He fucked it.
yeah, it was a repeat.
But also Sinner, like he dug in deep. There you could literally see where it started to change. And I've been through this many a time, right? With like Federer, and I'm just like, oh no.
You think it's over,
This
but
is
then
like- and then they come back and they're
then-
like, oh, who knows? And then,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Or because at first you're like, oh, at least I got 1 set,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, we're going to a 5th set,
Yeah.
and then it just happens.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, let's talk about Sinner as well.
Carrot Boy.
Carrot Boy, our favorite little.
You know, there's a thread on Twitter X.
Yeah.
Somebody has characterized like all of the tennis players based on like certain plushies.
Yes, you probably saw it from my circle. Probably.
My whole timeline feed is now just full of tennis.
Because it's probably stuff that I liked,
Same.
and then it gets into your algorithm.
It's all just full of tennis stuff.
Tennis rackets, though, but yeah.
Tennis.
Oh, here we
All
go.
the tennis memes.
Trying to validate himself.
because especially for Sinner, you know, I feel like Sinner getting a Grand Slam has been a long time coming, even though he's been under a lot of scrutiny from the internet. He used to just years ago, like a couple years ago, he'll just be known as like he's so fragile because of how lanky he is, and he'd always get injuries. But then he finally changed his team, and then freaking Darren Cahill came on, and he's been nonstop. Well, tennis Twitter knows what I'm talking about when we dictate the period as post puke Sinner. Like he's just been nonstop.
So wait, so he puked at him in a match?
Okay, so. I'll explain to people who don't know the context.
Do you know this, Bobs?
Post-peak Sinner? Okay, so post-peak Sinner refers to, there was the Beijing, the tournament there.
Yeah.
Where what happened was that, I think it was quarters, he was playing against Dimitrov.
Yeah.
And then he had to puke because, like, I don't know if he ate something or, like, the heat was too much.
Yeah.
So he puked. And then I
believe the court or
in a bin on the court, yes. Like they provide that to players.
Yeah.
If they say they're gonna puke, they provide the bin for them. And then after that, I believe like he won that match, and then he won against Alcaraz,
expelling the demons. Be gone.
And then he won against Medvedev for the first time in his career.
Oh.
At that tournament. So now everyone is like post puke Sinner. He's just been nonstop because after that. He won the Vienna title, which he beat Medvedev for against as well. Yeah. And then, of course, the Nitto ATP finals when he beat Djokovic for the first time during the round robin.
Is that the final 8?
Yes.
Thing?
Yes. Oh, okay. And then he also beat Medvedev again during the ATP finals to go into the finals. But then Djokovic beat him. But that's all right because that was the only loss because after that, well,
Australian Open, baby.
Yeah, Australian Open happened. He never dropped a set. His serve percentage was pretty good actually because he's improved his serve a lot, and so no, it's legit though because in that final you saw Medvedev like he went hard very quickly on the first 2 sets.
He's like, I've got a plan.
He's like, I just need to go, but then
he couldn't sustain it, right?
He was bound to run out of gas, and all those hours on the court caught up to him because. There was a difference of like almost 6 hours between them.
Yeah, which is literally 2 games.
Yes.
Normal games.
Yes.
Even like slightly tougher, like being pulled to a stretch, right? Like,
so it was bound to catch up to Medi. And then that was when Sinner just dug in deep and he managed to get back up from 2 sets to love.
First Italian player in the modern era
to get the Grand Slam, and of course we have to thank him for taking out Djokovic.
Bless you, Chance.
During the semis.
Yep.
Like that was such a great feeling.
We didn't get to see the match. How was it?
It was pretty great. He was on fire because he breadsticked him in the first set. And then it was like 6-1, 6-2, went to a tiebreaker. Djokovic won that, but I think that was because I think Sinner had like an error or 2. And then you've seen the meme of the first time you ever saw him so angry, he just flicked his bottle. Like, because he's just like he's so wholesome. Because even if you see him angry,
so funny.
He's like you should search it up because like there's been incidents where like of course. You're human, like you act out your frustration. Like he will kick over something and then he fixes it. And then this one, he flicked his bottle and then when it rolled away, he stood up to pick it up.
Was it a water drop bottle?
Yes, the AO, $70.
How much is it?
They're $70.
$70. That's crazy.
Our dad was flabbergasted at when he searched up how much those bottles were. We're not sponsoring them, but
it's so funny. The other thing about the Djokovic loss, it's like, okay, yeah, we did know that he was sick all the way throughout the tournament, right?
Yes.
But then it's the fact that he had to get the press back home to say, oh yeah, he got really sick at during the semifinal and it was really tough and whatnot. Well, it's because if you said that just on its own, I'd have believed you, right? Because it's like he has a good track record of saying this all the freaking time of when he would throw away matches and stuff because he's not feeling well or whatever. It's like, bro, commit.
Exactly.
Yeah. I will say, so Sinner he's 22, right?
Yeah.
So he's 22.
Yeah.
He's won his first Grand Slam. He has a game that extrapolates very well at the high level, like shades of Merit Safin, easy power on the serve, and there's no doubt that in the final, having not played as many hours definitely helped him. So
100%.
Like to win a Grand Slam, you have to have like a concatenate of things like all roll out very well for you. And I think Medvedev going through a gauntlet and the couple of 5 sets that he did definitely did help. But I think he's the next gen. It's him to me, Alcaraz, and
It's
who's
meant
the other
to
guy?
be Rune.
Yes, sorry, that's exactly
The
it.
baby
Rune.
Gen. Yeah.
There was this.
Those are the
there's
guys.
this tweet saying like, "Oh yeah, you'll get this person on your team," and then it's like, "Oh yeah," and then you'll say bye to him 2 months later.
Yeah. Rune's going through his own thing at the moment. He's really trying to. He's had a bit of some flops during last year, during the last season. Because he's been grouped together with Alcaraz and Sinner because Rune and Alcaraz, or you saw
Yeah,
in
they were
Breakpoint,
together. Yeah,
that they
grew
grew
up
up
together.
They basically playing together. And then of course, that's the whole thing too with Alcaraz and Sinner. Like they're really becoming. Well, it's also part of Alcaraz's. Like he's been mentioning it as well that they're becoming the Federer and Nadal 2.0. They're the next gen version of that. Which like the parallels do show already, and I guess
his shirts, shirt choice.
even if like look, you can call it a tactic, a PR thing, but I really believe that like that's going to be the next big rivalry.
You know what's making a comeback as well in men's tennis?
What?
The return of the giraffes. All these guys are really tall. Like,
I thought he was gonna say return of the drop.
well, that as well. But they're really tall. Like it's like Zverev made it all the way through. Medvedev is not short. Sinner's like it actually makes a big difference. Like generally to be able to hit the ball from that sort of
Be
height.
able to run at the height that you are, right?
or
and
have
coverage.
the stretch that they do,
Yeah.
especially Medi. That's why he's called the octopus because he's
I will say like Djokovic didn't have like I don't remember last time that was this the quarters like when did he get knocked out? Semis?
yeah.
6-0, that's like unprecedented. Like he must have had a shocker as well, right? Like it was a bit of
got
both.
COVID.
He's
A bit of both.
this wasn't his best performance in like
In a long
I
while.
guess a Grand Slam.
That being
in
said,
general.
I think Djokovic didn't have the best. I mean, he lost to what's the Australian man, the United Cup.
De Minaur.
He lost to Dimino coming in, like big whoop, doesn't matter. But like it didn't seem like he was hitting his best stride. If that made sense. Like he had a fight in the first match against Primožič. Remember that guy? Like there were
the
new kid, and like again, I think all this goes just show is like in the men's. To be honest, the fact that we saw Dominic Thiem and who did Dominic?
He's injured, eh?
No, he's come back. He's come back, but he's 100. He hasn't been the same.
Break back into the top 10.
The fact that we saw Dominic Thiem and what's the Canadian guy, the French?
Raonic.
Milos Raonic.
Raonic.
No, the other one.
Oh,
Shapovalov.
Felix
Ogier Aliassime.
Yeah, so the fact that we had those two as like it was a first round match, right? Just because Thiem wasn't ranked, we like the quality is.
Did he play this year?
Yeah, he did. It was a first round
They did a
match.
5-setter.
Yeah.
They did a 5-setter.
Again, Raonic versus who did Raonic versus?
De Minaur.
De Minaur.
Yeah.
That was a first round match. Like, and he was retired, but he was giving it to De Minaur. Like,
that was sad.
Yeah, he won the first set.
That was so sad.
but what I mean is like the quality is like actually immense there. So I think to have like a game where you can easily win on the serve and stuff like that, which is what
Being serve bots, yeah.
Yannick has. I mean, how did Zverev go all the way there? He had like a 95% first serve at one point.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. Like to win, you can win points. Everyone can win points on the forehand or backhand on the rally stroke, but the serve is the easiest,
The
cheapest point to get,
Yeah,
right? And it's the one you can do the most consistently, arguably under pressure. But the other thing that I saw, which
Return of the many double faults.
yes, return of the double faults. How many times did we see Medvedev? The Coco Golf one stood out to me as well.
Yeah.
Like really high ranking players. I don't think I've
was
seen
nuts.
as many double faults by high ranking players in my life. Like maybe in a tournament.
I thought I read that like leading into the quarters, Medi had like 27 double faults. So I was like, Christ.
Oh, can we also talk about
Well, Demonor as well. He actually has a tell.
oh
he double faults on like
flops
match
at the
points.
critical
It's a
points.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he clearly tenses up, even though you could not read it. Guy has a cardboard face in a good way. I think it's a poker face. Like you can't tell. He keeps it to him. But
Must be
these
the Italian in
these
him.
double faults
Oh,
are
Spanish?
insane.
Spanish. He's
sorry.
Spanish, yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Look at it.
But, well, yeah, shout out as well to Dimonor. Like, he still had up, like, there's the thing of how he always peaks in, like, tournaments
thing
that
before.
are set, yeah, like, home. But it's like, look, at least he basically got to second week, was it, right?
Second week, yeah.
Second week, yeah. It's just Rublev is a tough.
Hey, that demon,
was a-
that
that
was one
was
of the
a
best games of the
hectic game.
tournament.
that was a good match.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I tell you what, I haven't watched any of Rublev prior to this. I like him.
Yes.
No, but I
Where
like
have you guys been?
I like his style of tennis. I think he's got the most entertaining
you know what
forehand.
you could
I love
do?
it.
You could literally do a before and after of us talking about when you were talking about the top
And
eight.
then you're like, you
and, like-
forgot. And exactly. I'm like, guys, it's because, yeah, his best mates with Medvedev. Like, you're missing out, man. The Russians.
What do we like about Kev? What do we like about Rublev?
I just like his hair. I like his forehand.
He's a
He's got
rock
the best
star.
forehand for me.
Oh,
like,
yeah. The rockets.
Yeah,
like,
it's-
how hard he hits it.
yeah.
But he also has like a bit to work on. Like he's number 5, he's still doing great, but he has to work on the mental side of the game and also.
He's funny to watch, man.
Yes,
like the,
yeah. When he's having his episode,
he's externalizing a lot.
yeah.
You know.
Well, that's why people say that it's like his on court persona is very different. He's so much more chill off court.
Yeah.
But it's just like he's so like intense when it gets.
you don't
want to
know what's happening. In
You know,
my mind.
it's a horror movie. Legit.
Okay, who do you think was the most disappointment, like the biggest disappointment from the men's side of the Australian Open? Because I've got an answer straight away. Biggest.
I feel like there should be one
it should stand out pretty.
that should stand out.
yeah.
But like I think I was just so engrossed.
He's
in,
American.
Like, Medi and
Oh,
What, Fritz?
No.
No, Fritz did okay.
It's
Tiafoe.
Tiafoe.
Like,
Yeah.
where did that, like,
Yes.
just all of it, like,
It's the curse.
It's the curse.
baby.
it's
Like,
not the
yeah.
curse. It's not a thing.
yeah, he got out like
got out very early.
first or second round, was it? Yeah,
Very
Second,
early.
I think.
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's, I mean, hard
I was
court
gonna
Z
say
surface, right?
Tsitsipas, but I was gonna withhold it. Like, but also is that
Nah,
really
Tsitsipas is.
is that really a disappointment?
Oh,
Like,
oh. Yeah, he's now number 10, and unfortunately,
should have just swapped out with.
unfortunately knocked
Demon,
out.
no?
Yeah,
Like,
unfortunately knocked out Demon. He was only there for like 2 weeks or so.
he hit his goal. Still, you can't
Yeah.
take it away from him.
Exactly. He still got up there. And so-
time on this.
Yeah. Well, this is a tennis heavy
This
episode.
is a
but,
tennis heavy episode.
Well, yeah. Besides that, some of the rankings that have changed. So Hercox is now number 8. Fritz got moved up to number 9 after he was number 12. So at least he's back in the top 10.
Yeah, well deserved.
Tsitsipas got moved down to 10.
10.
Because I was expecting
Well
him.
deserved.
I
Well
was
deserved drop.
expecting him to be in the quarters, but I was surprised Fritz got to beat him. But
Yeah.
he had
That was a good game too.
That was a good game too.
Oh yeah, we watched and then we watched Tsitsipas as well during the quarters as well in the United Cup.
Check the vlog.
Check the vlog again. Shout out to the vlog again. And then otherwise, yeah, an interesting stat. You know what's the difference of points between number 4 and number 5?
A lot.
ATP points?
Very little.
No,
$3,000.
Is it?
3,000 points.
I'm looking at it now.
3,000
Googled
points in between. So
Let the
that
record
meant-
show that he was googling it.
well, that's but
Wait, hold on. Who's 4 and 5? What you call it?
Four
Sinner,
is
Rublev
Sinner.
Sinner's still
Sinner?
full.
Sinner and Rublev.
Yeah, right.
Rublev almost could have gotten knocked down to 6 if Zverev won,
Yeah.
but Medi defended him and was like, "Not today," and so Zevrev's still number 6. And then Medi is still 3. Alcaraz is 2.
What's the
and then Djokovic's
what's the
one.
difference between Alcaraz and Djokovic?
600.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Because
probably like one final or something.
So we-
yeah,
can see,
because
yeah.
of the fact that Djokovic got knocked out.
Yeah.
But also because Alcaraz got knocked out.
Actually, if you think
Well,
about it, Alcaraz was a big
Alcaraz was
disappointment
semis,
too.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was like, he's yeah. Unfortunately, it's because Zverev, like his game is just has always managed to weaken Alcaraz's because they're
Yeah.
head to head.
Yeah.
Zverev leads it, and so that's why I got really worried when they were gonna match up, and then I was really banking on Medi to take him out because I was just like, do it, and he did. But yeah, Alcaraz, like we thought, everyone was hoping if it was Sinner and Alcaraz, oh that would be like
It would be
chef's kiss. I'm sure it will happen in one of the Grand Slams these days.
yeah.
But like,
Because they're on opposite brackets, right?
oh,
Like,
but they're 2 and 4, so they would probably meet in like
meet at the semi.
semis. Yeah, semis. Yeah, they'll probably meet in the semis. Maybe U.S. Open. We'll see. I'm predicting. Let's hope U.S. Open. They'll have another they'll have another matchup.
And let's hope Medi wins in French Open after winning Rome last year.
Even though he hates clay.
Even though he hates clay.
But-
Am I right?
But I just feel bad. I felt really bad for Medi. That's like
Oh.
he's had 6 Grand Slam finals.
He's the bridesmaid, never
and
the
he's
bride.
only won 1. But he's literally carrying the next gen. He's the only one out of them who's technically Thiem as well. But unfortunately, Thiem has been knocked down to like the 100s. So otherwise, yeah, that's been tennis talk, guys.